Good morning. Local gas prices may be on the rise. AAA's Jim Garrity explains why. Domestic violence is becoming an all too common issue in Chautauqua County. And accused arsonist Jonathan Young will appear in court today. Our live team coverage starts now, Monday, June 5th, 2017.
Live and on demand from the Chautauqua Audio Works studios in downtown Jamestown. It's Morning News Now.
And good morning. It is 61 degrees with fair skies. I'm Justin Gould.
And I'm Kyle Helis. Our top story, accused arsonist Jonathan Young appears in court today.
That's right, Kyle. Pennsylvania prosecutors have charged the 19-year-old with burglary, car theft, loitering, and arson. As we reported last week, Young's lawyer filed paperwork for an insanity plea. Our gavel-to-gavel coverage starts right now with our Matt Hummel, who is standing by live at the courthouse in Butler, Pennsylvania. He has lots more. Good morning, Matt.
I'm down here just outside the courthouse, and Jonathan will be undergoing what's called a status conference today at 1 o'clock, and basically that means the judge and the lawyers will basically review where the case stands, and they can possibly expedite the case or make it faster, which especially makes sense considering the attorney Mara Palumbi filed, the separate motions that you mentioned last week. And as for what's next after today, in July he'll have another conference, presumably to have the psychiatrist talk to the judge and testify. I'm not sure if that'll be today or in July, but basically that's where we stand. Not a whole lot is known right now on what will happen today and in the next month or so. And while Storm and I were on our way down, we actually stopped to Wiener's Gone Wild again just to have some lunch, and we learned some interesting information about when Jonathan was arrested. He was like the Jonathan that many people, experienced during their days of knowing him in high school and throughout the community. He was very polite, well-mannered. He had his breakfast, sat there for a while, paid in cash, was very nice to the owners who had a lengthy discussion with him. And once he was arrested, the owner of the restaurant went outside to see what was going on, and he, in his handcuffs, was able to give a slight wave and said, and I quote, "I'm okay." So it seems to me that Young has been in decent spirits ever since his arrest, and we don't really know a whole lot more than that right now as to what exactly has transpired on the journey, other than, what we've reported. So we'll keep you updated, guys, later on. We should hear more around 2 o'clock or so when the hearing's over. For Storm Hartman, I'm Matt Hummel, WNY News Now.
All right, Matt Hummel, thank you. Again, we will have more throughout the day from Butler there with our Matt Hummel. Very interesting information that they learned.
What goes into determining the price for a gallon of regular unleaded gas? Jim Garrity, spokesman for AAA East Central, says gas prices here in Jamestown are stuck in neutral.
You're a little higher than the state average, partly because of that transportation cost, and you probably haven't seen much fluctuation because the Jamestown area, we're projecting at AAA, didn't see too much of a demand increase for the Memorial Day weekend.
Garrity says the average for a gallon of regular unleaded gas is $2.55, which is slightly higher than the average the state's average, of $2.50.
A Jamestown man is charged with smashing a woman's television set during a domestic incident on Tower Street this weekend. Jamestown police say the suspect, 22-year-old Aaron Johnson, is facing a single count of fourth-degree criminal mischief. He'll be arraigned today. And staying on the subject of domestic violence, a local counselor at a shelter for beaten women talks about the patterns that occur during relationships plagued by domestic violence.
A lot of the tactics are manipulation. It might be stalking kinds of behavior. When a perpetrator doesn't have control of that victim anymore, their anxiety goes up. So there's always some level of that. And when women or men who leave their perpetrators, we also know statistically that within the first 6 months of them leaving is the most dangerous time for them. So they're more likely to be either seriously physically injured or killed in that time. So do we see a lot of that? I have to say yes, because perpetrators can be very persistent.
And according to the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence, one woman is fatally shot by a spouse, ex, or dating partner every 14 hours.
Straight ahead, we have the latest on a pair of horrific accidents. But first, Dakota is standing by in the Skyline Weather Center.
Good morning, everybody. Let's take a look at our weather headlines to kick off the weather segment. It's going to be another wet week. We've got more rain heading our way this week. The temperatures will remain below average, but there's a turnaround toward the end of the week when the temperatures actually warm up to around average for the weekend, and we're talking 80s by early next week. Yes, it's going to feel good, which is obviously way above average. Let's take a look at our Skyline weather forecast for today, Monday, the beginning of a new work week. Scattered showers, a few rumbles of thunder is possible throughout the day. It's not going to be a steady rain. We're going to have on and off breaks. Otherwise, cloudy skies in between the breaks with temperatures in the lower 70s. For tonight, scattered showers and a possible thunderstorm. Otherwise, mostly cloudy in between the breaks of rain. Temperatures dipping back into the lower 50s. And then for tomorrow, scattered showers. Another thunderstorm or two is possible, mainly in the afternoon hours. Take a look at that high temperature, way off the mark into the lower 60s. From the Skyline Weather Center, I'm forecaster Dakota Hunter. Morning News Now continues right after the break.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvan Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer, plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
A Ripley man died Saturday after a tractor accident. Sheriff's deputies say 57-year-old Edward Schwab was pinned under his tractor when crews arrived to Sulphur Springs Road. Schwab was pronounced dead at the scene. And another accident this past weekend. Saturday, a Cassadaga man was thrown off his motorcycle after a deer entered the roadway on Stockton-Cassadaga Road. Police say 47-year-old Daniel Gloss was star-flighted to ECMC after the accident. No word on the extent of his injuries.
Andrew Cuomo is directing New York State Police to step up patrols and security at high-profile locations around the state. This comes after another terrorist attack in England. First mowing down a pedestrian in a van, then going on a stabbing rampage through the streets Saturday night. These coordinated attacks occurred on the iconic London Bridge and also in London's popular shopping district. London police say that a dozen people have been arrested in connection with the attack.
And just now, officials in Florida say they're investigating a multiple fatality shooting at an industrial area outside of Orlando. Deputies there say multiple people were killed, and as of now, the situation is reportedly contained and stable. Next here on Morning News Now, Gus Macker is back in the city. Our Storm Hartman looks at an interesting angle to the famed tournament. Jamestown's newest vape shop is Cloud City, located at 121 East 2nd Street and open 11 to 7 Monday through Saturday. This cool, fresh environment is a great place to hang with friends and vape. Cloud City's expert staff is here to help. Try their in-house flavor, Cloud City, a delicious marshmallow combination, or their flavor of the day for just $3. Whether you're a first-time vapor or an expert puffer, visit Cloud City today. The famed Gus Macker 3-on-3 basketball tournament returned to downtown this past weekend, but unlike years past, this tournament lacked female players. Our Storm Hartman tells us more.
Saturday, June 3rd marked the return of the Gus Macker 3-on-3 basketball tournament. Although the turnout for the Gus Macker was large, there was still a lack of girls for some of the competitions. Ladies First is a girls' division basketball team playing in the tournament. We spoke with the team about the need for more girls to get out and play.
We do have a JV and we do have a varsity team for JHS, but there's not like a lot of girls that will just go out and play basketball. I mean, other places they'll come in, but there's not a lot of Jamestown people that will. I mean, I think we need more because there's a lot of good people.
There's only 5 groups.
But despite the lack of competition, these girls stick together as a team to overcome.
We work together. That's all it's about.
It's teamwork.
It's the teamwork. It's not about how much you can play or what you can do. It's more about teamwork.
I'm Storm Hartman reporting for WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
And the event formerly known as Street Jam was canceled back in 2016 after low player turnout. Just this year, the Post-Journal and Media One Group, along with the city, revived the tourney. And now, Kyle, according to the Post-Journal, 20% of the net proceeds from this year's tournament will be donated to the Alex Folk Foundation.
That's such a great foundation. Alex Folk was a very well-known kid around here. When I worked at the arena, I heard nothing but good things about Alex Folk. His mother, Kim Carlson, is a wonderful lady. She does a lot for the city. Her husband, Lee Harkness, also a great man.
Yeah.
You know, we're just surrounded by good people, and just, you know, it's terrible that this is going on in our city.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's a good way that we all can contribute to the heroin epidemic, and it's kudos to the Post-Journal and Media One in the city for
Absolutely. Great
donating
job, guys.
those profits and proceeds to it. Now, as for Storm's report about the lack of girls that play basketball, I think that's very interesting because, you know, I was from like a central school district, not like in the city of Jamestown,
right.
but like I remember girls basketball being very popular. So I don't know if it's just the lack that they didn't know that the Macker was back and that they could play.
That could be a good possibility. I actually remember in years past we did have an abundance of women's teams.
Yeah.
There, you know, along with, you know, it was almost half and half. The women's teams were in the men's team, then you had the kids division. I'm actually glad to see the Gus Macker name back in Jamestown.
Good to see downtown.
It's nice to have that Gus Macker name rather than the Street Jam, which nothing against Street Jam because it was a great tournament.
Yeah, but it's good to see it back, and I'm sure, you know, as the event continues each year,
it'll get bigger.
It'll get bigger and bigger. So that is going to do it for today's edition of Morning News Now. We're back tomorrow.
And join our social media revolution by following us on Twitter, liking us on Facebook and Instagram at WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
Great job.